he said, throughout our careers, we're moving around on this ladder. We're moving around on this ladder. So sometimes we're at the very bottom of the ladder, unconsciously unskilled. What do you think it means to be unconsciously unskilled? You don't know that you don't know, and it feels fine. Yeah, you're unaware. That's right. Things aren't working, but I don't know it, so it's not bothering me. Now, you move to the next level. The next level, you become consciously unskilled. Which means now you know that you don't know. That's right. That doesn't feel nearly as good as being unconsciously unskilled. It's obvious that what I'm doing is not working, and I know it. I don't know what to do about it, but I know it's not working. Now, whenever I get to work with first-year teachers, brand new teachers, I explain to them, if you're a brand new teacher, you are unconsciously unskilled. You do not know that you do not know. Okay? And the head of the school is glad that you're unconscious. Because if you knew what you didn't know, you never would have signed this contract. Okay? Now, next level, consciously skilled. Consciously skilled is when you're learning something new and you can do it as long as you're learning it. So you're a primary teacher and you've learned a guided reading practice. So the primary teacher says this: I'm doing guided reading with this group of children. Do not tell me there are children at centers. Do not tell me what they're doing over there at the centers, because I'm doing guided reading. As soon as my mind goes off to what the other kids are doing, it's no longer guided reading. This often happens when you're implementing a new technology. Have any of you had a smart board make you dumb? Now, I think this is how you move the arrow. What was I teaching? As soon as you start thinking about what you're teaching, you can't remember the steps to make the smart board do what you wanted the smart board to do. Whenever you're learning something new, you learn it at that conscious level. Now, if you keep practicing that new thing long enough, you move to the highest level where you become unconsciously skilled. Okay? It means you teach with automaticity. Okay? Most of you do your best teaching when you're unconscious. So coaching is about taking things that normally in your classroom you're going to do unconsciously. But for this particular class period, on this particular day, I'm inviting someone to come into my classroom so that I can consciously practice my skill. Just you being there will make me consciously practice. Now, I was working with Gordon's material, and I decided to add a spot up there on the left-hand side. If you look up Tom Gordon's original work, that unconsciously talented piece isn't there. But I found there were a group of teachers who were unconsciously talented. Those are people who were either born with the ability or they unconsciously developed it over the years and don't know how they do it. So the unconsciously talented teacher performs at a high level, but they don't know what it is they're doing that makes them successful. Very often, great performers never make it as coaches. Why? Because they were unconsciously talented. They were born a great soccer player. Okay? So then, at the end of their career, they try to coach. So they say to the player, kick it into the net. Okay? Kick it! No. In! Kick it in! No, wait, let me show you. Now, you do it. Go ahead. Do it. No, in! I quit. Coaching's just too hard. Very often, your best coaches were struggling players. And they studied the area consciously. They studied dance consciously. They rehearsed and practiced piece by piece by piece by piece. And now they can switch over to be a coach. person who's here and wants to move over to here, here's the problem. They have to go to here. Notice it's a step down. So this person's performance actually drops while they're at this level before they can bring it back up to there. That's very often why they don't want to do it, because it's hard work. Growth occurs from discomfort. Let's catch that phrase. Growth occurs from discomfort. How many of you know that that is true for your kids? Your job is to bring discomfort to the children of this community. How many of you realize you have a calling from a higher power to bring discomfort to you? You want to create a classroom where students are comfortable with discomfort. If there's no discomfort, growth doesn't happen. But if you create an environment where there's only discomfort, then kids shut down, won't make attempts. So your job as a classroom teacher is to create an environment where kids are comfortable with discomfort. I'm comfortable saying I don't know how to do this. I'm comfortable attempting and failing. I'm comfortable explaining to my teacher that I don't know how to do this. And because I'm making myself vulnerable as a learner, let's get to all the words in here. When learners will make themselves vulnerable to their teachers. If the kids will make themselves vulnerable to you, kids who openly tell you what they're struggling with will learn the most from you. Kids who hide what they don't know from you makes your job 10 times harder. I find interesting. I have teachers tell me they totally get it. And then tell me, I don't want a colleague coming into my room. Why? It makes me uncomfortable. Oh, isn't this interesting? You made a career out of bringing discomfort to children, but you want to go through your career having no discomfort yourself. You got a little oxymoron going on here. See, to me, what greater thing than for you to explain to your students why there's a colleague in your room? Folks, you're going to notice people coming into my room a lot this year. You're going to notice them writing things down. Why are they doing that? Because I've set some goals to be the best teacher I can be. You see, this is my 27th year of teaching, and I expect to do a better job than I did my 25th and 26th. Because that's the environment I want my students to take on. Here is one piece that helps you explain where the discomfort comes from. This is known as the learning dip. And see, over on the left, you have the letters now. So this is where I'm currently at in my teaching effectiveness and teaching skills. This is where I want to end up. I want to be able to reach more students, higher performances faster. Wow, what a goal. I want more kids to succeed at a higher rate than they're now succeeding, and I'd like it to happen faster than I've been making it happen. That's the goal I have. I want to move from here to here. The problem with improving our skills as teachers is it doesn't go like this. Instead, it goes like this. When I take that new thing back to my classroom and I implement that new thing, it puts me in the learning dip. My effectiveness decreases. That creates discomfort. At that point, most of us want to get rid of the discomfort. How do you get rid of the discomfort? That's right. Throw away the new thing and go back to your old, better performance. Lots of new technology is not getting implemented into schools because of exactly that. And you know what? It's very often your most effective teachers who who have the greatest difficulty bringing new technology into the classroom. Because the higher you're performing as a teacher, as soon as that technology takes you into the dip, put the computers away, get out a pencil. I know how to do this. Since everybody's got a computer, we're 2 weeks behind. Close them up. When we get caught up, we'll get the computers back out. Okay? And the reality is, I've got to play through that. See, that's why most of us at that spot, when we get down to the bottom, that's when most of us need a coach. Because the coach at that spot is a cheerleader. Okay? They're in your classroom watching you work. What you're doing isn't working. But what's your coach doing? They're standing in the back doing this. They're encouraging you to stay with it. Now, remember earlier I said it's difficult to go from good to great? Okay. Over there on the left where it says now, write the word good. Go over to later and write the word great. Now do you see why it's so hard to go from good to great? Keep this thought. I'm going to call it what to know to coach. So if you're going into a person's classroom work as a coach, what do you need to know? But I want to set the stage with all of this. Why should your school invest in training you in coaching skills? Why should your school invest in looking at how to create time for you to spend in each other's classrooms? Why would your school invest in structures that put teachers together for conversation? The bottom line has to be student achievement. I've got to be able to show a direct line that connects the time that teachers are spending with each other to increase student performance. So the first question that people need to ask is, what is the definition of student achievement? If I'm coming into your classroom to work as a coach, I need to give you a chance to tell me, what is student achievement? Here is one of the schools that I worked with. This is their definition of student achievement. They said that student achievement was broken into these three areas. One was academic success. That tends to be the content that gets tested. So if I'm teaching science, there's a science skill set that my students need to meet. Okay? The second they called life skills. Aptitude, attitude, and skills to lead a responsible, fulfilling, and respectful life. How many of you would say that the ability to work effectively in a cooperative group is one of your definitions of student achievement? Okay. Now, this becomes important because your definition of student achievement is going to influence how you choose to teach. So I'm a history teacher. Academic content. History. I teach history by having kids work in cooperative groups. Not because I think it's the best way to learn history, but because I think it's the only way that I can meet two goals at the same time. I can teach my history and I can teach my cooperative group at the same time by how I choose to teach.